I do. Right, today's job is to do some repair work and upgrades on the power hammer. I haven't used it for ages, so I did a job yesterday and yeah, it was fun, but I've managed to kill that, and I found that these guides to help keep the top arm in line were in the way of the metal when I was feeding it through the jaws. So what I'm going to do is cut them off, weld on some angle iron, and then put a new guide to come over the top over here, so I've got a lot more space to work with, but not so far that it doesn't interfere with that. The other thing which is annoying is when it's going, see the jaws are a bit offset, I need them to come back into true. So what I need to do is, if I zoom in, that shim needs to be on the other side, but also a little bit thicker as well, which will help. If I zoom back out, move this all just a tiny bit that way, and hopefully with the shims and the new guide, that should help keep this in place and give us the space that I need. Make sense? Right, first things first, grinder, chop them off. Right, I've got that done. Still a bit more play in it than I would like, but I'm hoping once I get the runners on there, I'm going to, well, bring it in a little bit narrower, just so there's less movement from side to side, and then hopefully that'll do it. That was a pain trying to get that shim to stay in, so in the end I just welded it on, but it was still a pain. So right, I've got some angle iron which I'm just going to weld on the back, and then I've got bits of other stuff which I'll stick over the top. So right then, keep going. Right, I've put a couple of little tack welds on those bits. I think that one needs to come up a couple of millimeters, so I'm going to have two other bits of angle iron welded on the end. I think I'll put a little bar across, and then these are actually going to be slightly angled that way, so when the top arm drops, it's actually, well, slips into the groove, giggity, and then that, so if that's on like a bit of a Y or V shape, Y, you know what I meant, then that will actually get the jaws to line up properly. Doesn't help that they're actually different sizes, but never mind. So, and then I'll get them cut off at the same height, and then I'll put weld a little strengthener on the top, and hopefully that'll do it. Is it pretty? No, but it's going to be covered in dirt soon anyway, so you never know the difference. Right, tack welding in place, slight angle, but what I can do is just nip it in a little bit when I do the proper weld. I'm just going to see if it will go up and down, and then hopefully it will not fall apart. So bloody loud. Right then, all fully welded all around there, even around the front and up in there. I don't know if you can see, you don't care. Round there, in there, underneath there. Right, let's see if it works. Here we go. Get in. Right, I'll stick some paint on, jazz it up a little bit, and then I'll get stuck into some new graft. And there you go, bit of paint just to jazz it up. So now I've just gassed myself. I think I'll open the garage door, get some fresh air, and think about what I'm going to do next. Right then, it works, it's a lot happier, but I found that when I was putting bigger bits of metal in, the little bracer bit across the top, the main arm was actually bashing off it. So tried cutting it back a little bit, no good. So I've cut it all off. So far, you know, nice solid weld, so that's not going anywhere. So it's actually doing the business there. I might still stick another bit on, but much higher, just because. But at the minute, it's doing all right. So what I'll do, I think, is I'll see if I can position the camera so you can see it in action in a minute. Right, let's have a go. Yeah, fuse tripped. Let's try that again. Oh, right, that was interesting. Right, the cable isn't quite long enough to reach that socket, which is why I was using the extension. But it's the extension just keeps tripping out with the thermal cutout. Yeah, so well, I just need to get a longer cable for there. It won't quite reach there, it won't, definitely won't reach that one over there, so I'll figure something out, but I'll still put that down as a success. Just need to tidy that up. Yeah, I'm gonna put something on just to, I'd rather have too much support than not enough. Lengthen the cable, and this is what I made yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. Anglo-Saxon T axe, conveniently in the shape of Thor's hammer. Just needs the socket tidying up a bit, which I think I'll do, and then that's ready for heat treatment. But right, yeah, like I say, I'm considering that a success. A few little tweaks here and there, and then I'll be really happy. But time to stop. Right, last job of the day is, probably burn my fingers. Slowly cool down just a wee bit and dunk it. Hang on, stand clear. Right. Oh, that'll be doing wonders for me lungs. Flaming Thor's hammer axe thing. Right, I'll give that a minute, and then I'll find a file and I'll see if it's hard. Yeah, I needed both hands to do that. So, is that a ding on the edge? But it better not be. No, it's just some shite. So, right. There was one tip I got with regards to tempering, was an old-fashioned way, is to burn the oil off, re-quench, do that 3 times, and then that should temper it. What it'll do for me lungs, nobody knows. Well, it'll probably ruin them, but you know. I forget exactly, but I think the oil burns off at about 400 degrees C. So if that's the case, then that should be your tempering temperature. first tin. I picked up this tip from a guy called Rowan Taylor, who made a one-to-one replica Sutton hoop chain, among other things, out of wrought iron, and did a very nice job. So, funnily enough, it was when he was making a big Cuban axe as well, bigger than mine, but you know. See what that's like in a bit. Just burn that last little bit off at the end. Just clear a space. That's going to be some axes soon. Right, let's finish it off. Right, so let that sit there for a bit. I'll burn some of that oil off. So I'll clean it up in a bit, and then I'll get my hardness testing files out, and then see what it's like. And if I've done a decent job, then I'll stick a shaft on it. Right. Basically that triple oil burn thing is crap. The 50 Rockwell file was actually biting, so I can't be bothered to do it now, because this was just an experiment piece. Just, you know, for the hammer. But I'm going to get it back up to temperature, re-quench it, and just temper it the sensible way. So, right, will I do it? Aye, right, I'll do it now. Right, I did it again. So there's 55, if it'll focus. Does it focus? There you go. And that's skates, so that's better. Let's see what 60 does. Yeah, 60 is just biting a little bit, so that's a lot better than it was. So right, I'm happy now. So I'll stick a quick edge on it, and then I think job's a good one, and then I'll go and have me tea. So I think I'll call that one mission accomplished. Right, see you in a bit. Right, I've stuck a little bit more of an edge on, and I've just jammed a gnarly old handle on it, and I thought I'll do just a little tester just to see. considering that's not actually sharp yet. It was just an experiment one. That's came out quite well, quite pleased with that. Did pick up the very slightest little warp, but it's less than a millimetre overall, and I'll just call that you know, rustic character. But yeah, look at that. And that's not even sharp. Get in. Right. I think I'll celebrate with me tea now. See you in a bit.